Okay. Ooh, okay. Alright, alright. I don't know what to do now. Do I try it? Do I try it? I don't even know, man. I want to do it, but then I don't want to lose all that silver. But then I can gain more gains if I try it, so it's like I'm not super lucky. I am not lucky. Okay, you know what? You know, fuck it. If I don't get it, I don't get it. Fuck. Alright, it's been a week since I haven't uploaded a video for my channel. Sorry about that. Glaring issues when it comes to the overall activity when it comes to PvP in this game. No matter what you may think, if you're somebody who enjoys PvE or enjoys life skills or enjoys the role playing in the game, whatever it is that you tend to do in the game anyways, one big aspect of Black Desert Online's activities are usually the PvE life skills as well as PvP. Now, right now, in terms of the activities when it comes to PvP, it's very small in comparison. It's almost more of a niche than anything, which is understandable seeing how the fact of the matter that the developers are mostly keen on producing more quality PvE content for the game than trying to add in more activities for PvP. The issues regarding to the lack of PvP activity in BDO has to do with the foremost that the developers aren't really doing anything in particular. I mean, not they are doing something. As you already know, Arena of Solare is coming out on August 17th again. Now, it's going to be the first season of Arena of Solare being out for the public to play. Before, it's more like a beta than anything, being tested out at an open platform for everybody to play around with in the client side of the game, instead of it being on the global labs version of the game per se. We'll see whether or not the activities when it comes to Arena Solare will be either higher up or it's going to be lower. This addition to adding Arena of Solare to the game is a bit too late. It's a bit too late. It's seemingly it's just an add-on to the game than anything. I would have wished that the developers were to actually think about the community that likes the PvP and that likes the combat overall, than just to add in more progressive means to the game, even though that's the main factor of the game. But if you're going to add in PvP and then not update PvP regularly, either bi-weekly or every month or bi-monthly, hell, even tri-monthly, will be a better state to actually acquire better situations for the PvP side of the game to actually be more lively, to actually have a bit more prosperity and longevity. But right now, it just seems like they're just adding things to the game in hopes that it will at least please the PvP side of the community when it comes to Black Desert Online. And that to me just seems like it's more of a lazy way of them just saying, "Hey, okay, we know that you exist, that we know that you want this, but we're really taking more priority on the PvE side, so either wait or just fuck out of here." That's basically how I feel about the developers Prolobis for what they are handling when it comes to the PvP side of the game. As we already know, the one biggest complaint that I feel that a lot of players, including the PvE side or either the life skill side of the game, is that the server's instability is a big problem as to why it is that a lot of individuals don't like to even play the game in the first place, right? But I'm just gonna point this out immediately so that I don't end up straggling along too much talking about it. And I'm just going to say that I very much doubt that the developers are going to do anything about the servers. I really don't think they'll do anything about the servers. The server issue that with the desyncing, with the lagging, all that, nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to be fixed when it comes to that particular part of the game. I really, really doubt it. It's been what, 6+ years already since the game has been out for the West, and they still haven't done anything about the servers. So at this point, there's nothing is going to happen about the servers. The servers are not going to change. The servers are not going to somehow miraculously stabilize in any way. That these things is going to stop. At least it's going to happen rarely or whatnot. None of that's going to happen because if they haven't done anything about it now, or either 2 or 3 years before, it's not going to happen anytime soon. Unless a miracle happens and they just simply decide, okay, let's actually start thinking about uh, implementing a better server stability for the game, so that way people that want to get into PvP or PvE don't have to have issues with the desyncing problem or lag. So that's one thing. That's not going to change. I really don't think so. The PvP resistance in this game, or at least in resistance in general, like CC resistance, that's not going to change either. I mean, we had somewhat of a little bit of a change to the CC resistance onto the game, as we're already seeing. Like I believe it was like 1 year ago, that either it was 1 year ago or 2 years ago, where they actually implemented a system in place where they kind of lowered the CC resistance modifiers of the game, so that way players don't have a almost 100% CC resistance between what they have on them in terms of crystals. But even though they lowered it, they haven't done anything to really remedy the issue when it comes to the PvP side of CC resistance. If I were a developer and I wanted to have a, how should I say, healthy PvP environment for my game, why would I simply have CC resistance in PvP as a particular type of variable that would end up messing up your chances of winning your fight against the opposing person? I can understand it if they were simply to split both the CC resistance when it comes to PvE and eliminate it in PvP all in general. Now, how in terms of coding will that work? If it's easy or if it's hard, I don't know. Maybe if they simply had that from the beginning since their development of the game, maybe it will be more simple, but now I doubt that's going to happen. So CC resistance is another particular factor that I doubt they're ever going to change. They're not going to eliminate it completely for PvP. It's going to be in the game forever, as long as the game is alive, or unless they release a sequel of some kind. So that is one thing. The most that they can probably do is continuously lower the CC resistance bracket for PvP, so that way it becomes easier to try to CC somebody in PvP. Now my next point, RBF. RBF in its state right now is hit or miss, really, in terms of how they implement the servers, how they implement the maps. Valencia City is an amazing arena for those that want to get into RBF. But my issue is that why is it that we have multiple servers for Valencia City? Why do we have multiple servers for Crown Castle and Garma's Nest? Why not just simply make it into separate servers? Okay, let's say we have separate servers. We got server 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 servers, incomplete, right? And in these 5 servers, you have map rotations. You can go into Valencia City, maybe you might go into Crown Castle, maybe you'll go into Garma's Nest, and that's it. And whatever other new RBF maps they may add in the future, which, mind you, they still haven't added the other RBF map that they mentioned in 2021, I believe, that they still haven't added in. So I don't know if it's still a work in progress, or they just completely scrapped the idea off of it and they believe that we've forgotten about it. But in the case of the servers, it's just that why have multiple servers for different maps? Why not just simply have map rotations? What's the point of adding new maps to the game if players are not going to go for the older maps anymore? I can understand that if players don't want to go into Crown Castle because they just find it to be an old arena of content that they don't want to go into anymore. Same thing with Garma's Nest. Garma's Nest is not really old. The stupid map, when it came out, players got in for the first, I guess, several weeks, and then they forgot about it. They went back to Crown Castle. They had no point in going to Garma's Nest when they could have just go to Crown Castle for the better experience. Nobody liked the idea of Garmoth, the actual dragon, popping up out of nowhere and breathing fire at everybody. No one liked that idea. Now, you know what they did like? The idea that there were actually items that you can break in the arena, and these items gave you boost. They may even give you AP, it may give you DP, it may give you more DR, it may give you more accuracy, movement speed, attack speed, whatever the fuck it was that they gave you in Garma's Nest. But it was an interesting idea because it at least helped players that didn't have the AP, that don't have the DP, to actually break these objects and gain the bonus modifiers for their class, and actually help them fight other players in a much more, I'm not certain if balance is the right word, but it feels like it's more balanced if you're a player that doesn't really have the AP or DP to end up confronting these kinds of players in RBF. But in my opinion, overall, the biggest thing that they should have done is to simply merge these maps, merge these servers, had like only 5, maybe even just 6 servers, I don't know, 5, 6 servers, and just have map rotations in between them. That way, you just simply, okay, you want to go to server 1, chances are you may get the Garmos Nest, maybe you get the Crown Castle, maybe you might get Valencia City, and whatever else they may add into the game as new maps. There's no point in adding so many different servers for Valencia City, so many maps for Crown Castle, and maybe 4 maps that I can see for Garmos Nest. There's no point in having that. There's 8 servers for Valencia City. Only 2 are being used. One for seasonal and one that's normal. And you have multiple ones that have the camouflage, non-camouflage effect added into the Valencia City servers. Same thing for Kron. Oh, I said Kron Castle for the longest time, didn't I? I meant to say Castle Ruins. Oh my god. So yeah, for Castle Ruins, they have done this for so long, and it makes no sense. Why would we have 7 maps, 7 servers, I should say? Why do we have 7 servers? Why not just simply have maybe just 2 servers? One for Kron, one for, I keep saying Kron, one for Castle Ruins for seasonal, and one for the regular server. Except the regular server, just give it the effect that it has no camouflage, that you can't have camouflage equipment, or that you can't implement the camouflage effect to the server. That's it. Same thing with Garma's Nest, just have one seasonal and one normal, and that's it. Why do we have a bloated amount of servers for RBF when only maybe 2 out of these servers are actually chosen? I don't know if there's like a particular type of, how should I say, rush hour in a certain particular time when there are players that do select multiple servers at once and they all want to enter for RBF. But at the most, from what I've seen, maybe 2 servers are occupied at a time. And again, ever since Valencia City came out, nobody is trying out Castle Ruins. Nobody is bothering with Garmostet except this guy right here. But in my opinion, they can just simply just make it so that these servers were just merged and just make it into a map rotation type server instead of it being separate servers for different maps. So that's my take when it comes to RBF. I just wish that they just simply make it easier for players to get into these servers and make it so that instead of having a bloated amount of servers for no reason and leaving alone some of the older maps that people used to play before in the past and completely forget about them, why not just simply make a server where all of these maps are just rotated between each other and that's it? That would easily make it so that these older maps they have made before get played instead of not being played at all. Now to my last point. Arena of Solare, as we currently know it, is going to start coming out in August 17th. I'm not sure, actually, I'm somewhat sure that once the season ends for Arena of Solare for the first season, we may not have Arena of Solare for the next who knows how many months until the next season comes out. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. They may just leave it in the game because from what I've seen from the patch notes, they have stated that they're going to have 2 modes. One is ranked mode, which of course is still going to be a limited time endeavor where you go into ranked during a certain specific time to then PvP and then rank up and whatnot. Well, we'll have the second mode called practice match, or practice mode I believe it's called. And in this mode, you can still queue in with other players randomly, or you can actually queue in with your friends, or queue in with your guildmates, which is actually an unbelievably good thing. I actually like this so much because, okay, I understand for ranked, solo queuing is a necessary endeavor because we don't want to have players that know each other and then simply shit on other players that are just randomly picked to matchmake with, you know? Because if you know the individual that you're playing against, or playing with, I should say, and you can communicate with that person well enough, then surely enough you'll have a better time winning. So of course there's outliers again where maybe the team is shit and they even if they know how to communicate with each other they're still quite bad at the game and whatnot. That can still happen. But if you're equally good at with your class and you know how to communicate with the other individual in your team, that you know who that individual is, and you have that bond with that person, you'll probably have an easier time communicating with that person and know their patterns and what they'll do, so that way you can naturally revolve around them or they revolve around you in terms of how you tactically go about beating the other team. So that's why having that in ranked is kind of a little bit BM if you just simply have that in the game. But for a practice match or practice mode, you can queue in. Rank won't matter anymore. It's just simply you fucking around and whatnot. And you can go in with your boys. You can go in with by yourself if you want to. If you want to go in with your guild mates, you can do that as well. And just, fuck around and just play around. Of course, you're still gonna try to win. You're still gonna try to take it seriously and hopefully win matches if that's what you want. But at least you're able to do it in a much more casual sense. And the great thing about it is that you don't have to worry about gear as well, both in ranked and in this practice mode. The issue with what I had with this is that, okay, practice mode allows you to queue in regardless of the time that you're entering into it. Unlike with rank match you still have to specifically queue in during the specific times that they have on. With practice match you don't need to. You can just get in whenever you want. But what happens when the season ends for Arena Solare? Will the mode still stay in, at least for practice mode? Or will it also go alongside rank match once the season ends? If it ends up leaving alongside rank match for whatever reason, because they just say, okay, the season ends, let's just take away season Arena Solare out of the game, and then bring it back in once the new season comes in. If they do this, mind you, if they do this, there's no reason to have Arena Solare in the first place. What is the goal of having a PvP arena that's equalized for players to enjoy if you're going to remove it out of the game when the season is done? You don't see this with Overwatch. You don't see this with any other competitive multiplayer game out there. You don't see this happening. What does happen is this. Once the ranked is done, the rank season is done, and you already gain all your MMR or whatever the fuck that you gain in terms of points. Once the season ends, you can no longer matchmake and gain points anymore. You can still competitively play, but you won't get any points anymore. You won't rank up for having it because the season already ended. Or the mode is unavailable to be played, so you can still play with other game modes like regular player matches that may still have MMR in it, but it's not in the same level as the ranked matches that you get in. So you won't get rewards for entering into, let's say, regular ranked matches or regular mode or game modes for multiplayer. You're just simply getting into it for the leaderboards, right? Though that's the only reward you're getting it, or maybe you're just getting it for the semi rewards like loot boxes and whatnot, like Overwatch does, and other games that may be similar in that fashion. If they allow practice match to be in the game for Arena Solare, then at least players have something to compete against other players and just play around with. They don't have to worry about, oh, let's go to BA and use trials characters to, you know, practice with. And mind you, it's not like everybody's going to be in BA. Some players are too busy doing PvE, some players are just doing life skills, some people are just AFK. So what are the chances that you will have players playing into I say PA, BA, Battle Arena basically, and wants to practice with you? Maybe you might see players in BA, but they're not gonna want to participate in sparring with you because they're gonna be sparring with their guildmates or they're sparring with other players, right? Unless you talk to them, then again, yeah. But my point is that you want to be able to get in without having to speak with somebody and tell them, hey, you want to spar? Hey, you want to spar? Hey, you want to spar? You don't want that. You just want to be able to get in immediately. If you want to play with friends or with guildmates, like I already mentioned, or just want to solo queue with randoms, that's fine. You don't have to worry about having to have people play around with you unless you want a pre-made team of some kind. So that's another particular part of what I wish for the game to have is that Arena Solar doesn't leave all of a sudden just because the season already ends once August 17th comes in. So yeah, if you guys like what you watched, you like what I'm basically representing here, if you want to comment down and say anything about what I said in this video, if you don't like my ideas, if you don't think that my ideas are warranted, if you think that I'm incorrect, or if you agree with what I'm saying, again, comment down in the section and tell me what you think. If you think I'm right or if you think I'm wrong, or if you have your own ideas in mind that you want to add into the game. Well, I mean, it's not like you can add anything, not that I can do either anyways, but, you know, I just want to get my thoughts across about the game and its state right now when it comes to PvP. So yeah, that's about it.
Join myself and King as remedy. Together we will devour the very core.